Good morning, everybody. So I'm going to start the show before and then hand over to Ralph in a minute. So it's my pleasure today to give you a bit of an overview of what we do with regards to corporate social responsibility at Pernod Ricard USA. Elliot gave a bit of an overview of what is our business. It's very interesting, when people say, "What do you do?" You say, "I work for Pernod Ricard," and you get this blank stare. So every time you always fall by default into the brands. And I think that's probably what we're best known for. We have what we believe is the most premium bar in the world in terms of our brands, which are focused very much on spirits, wines, and champagnes. So again, most people know Absolut Vodka, Jameson Irish Whiskey, Chivas Regal, Perrier-Jouet Champagne, Avion Tequila, all of these products. These are all products that we own and we sell in the United States. That's our calling card. That's what we're all about, which is the brands. And what's interesting is some of those brands there are over 300 years old. In fact, you look at Absolut. Absolut is over 100 years old, although it hasn't been in the United States that long. Jameson was in the 1700s. Even Martell goes back to 1730 in terms of the products. So long-term sustainability for our brands has always been key, and it's just as important with regards to our business moving forward. So one of the things with regards to this portfolio is this portfolio has made us become one of the leaders of the wine and spirits industry globally. So we have 70 wholly owned affiliates throughout the world, so in 70 different countries. Plus we also have large production facilities based all over the world, in particular markets and countries where all these products all come from. And with that sort of global leadership comes a high level of responsibility with regards to how we act and how we do things moving forward with various factors. And I'll talk a lot today about what is our corporate social responsibility platform and where it's come from and what it's all about. So one of the things that, with regards to CSR and corporate social responsibility sort of burst onto the scene years ago, and everyone put it onto the placards in the office and ticked the boxes. The fact of the matter is that with Pernod Ricard, we're actually a combination of two companies, two French companies. One is the Pernod company, which was owned by the Hamad family. The other one is the Ricard company, which was owned by the Ricard family. And they merged in 1975. And this is the extract from the first annual report they released that year, which was very much about the fact that we are duty bound to give back as much as we take. And it's been a very, very strong part of our DNA. And we have a set of values, and every great company has a set of values that they live by. And one of the key set of values that we have is a sense of ethics. And it's very, very important for us, and it's something I've been with the company nearly 20 years. It's drilled into us right at the start with regards to our sense of values. And that comes from very much our first chairman, and pretty much the guy who founded the business, a guy called Paul Ricard, who was about this tall, but about this big. He was massive in terms of philanthropy and in terms of being an active entrepreneur. And he did a lot of personal stuff, not just within the business. He created the foremost oceanographic institute in France with Jacques Cousteau. And this was just all his private stuff. Plus, he put together sort of a basis of what is our CSR platform today. And I'm not sure if you can read it, but the center of it is all about respect. Respect for the employees, the customers, the shareholders, the partners, and also local communities. And we have a rallying cry in terms of our business, which is called Make a New Friend Every Day. And it pretty much was the first briefing to his team of 5 sales guys when he first started his business in 1932. And that Make a New Friend Every Day, which we wear around on our wrist, is very much, that's our calling card, that's our business. But within that, there is a very strong sense of ethics underpinned by this platform. And the platform is looking at very much respect for our environment, sharing our cultures, and I'll talk about how we do that, promoting entrepreneurship, and the key thing I'm going to talk about today, which is promotion of responsible drinking, which is one of the probably the most visible things that we try and do, particularly here in the United States. So with regards to this thing, it's about, this one has been around since the 70s. It's about long-term sustainability. It's something that we haven't deviated from. The great thing about our business is we have a very small holding company in Paris, and we basically are given a lot of free rein in each individual country to do what we want that makes that come to life. So I haven't got a massive manual about this big that comes out of Paris that tells me what we do. In fact, I have that, and myself and Jack Shea, who's here, is our CSR leader. We basically sit down and say, okay, what is right for the United States? What is right and what is going to resonate here with our customers, our consumers, and our partners? And that's great. So, I worked in other countries before I came here, and again, we had the same sort of flexibility. So although we have different programs all over the world, they're all very much hinged on that platform there. So with regards to why do we do CSR? Why do we bring that platform to life? It gives us a few things that we believe are very important. First and foremost, it actually attracts talent to our business and attracts consumers. So we say that, I have a bit of a catch cry that I say, our brands attract people to come and work for us. Because we work in the spirits and wine industry. I don't know what all you guys do, but in the end, I have the best job in the room, I can tell you. And I will go to my grave saying that, because we work in the spirits and wine industry and champagne. It's an exciting place to be. So people like to come and work for us. But that's what brings them in the door. What keeps them is your culture, because the culture is absolutely critical. And more and more people, when they're coming through the door, it doesn't matter whether they're 21 years of old or whether they're 51 years of old, are asking more questions about what are you doing in terms of your ethical responsibility and your social responsibility platform for your business. But what's also happening with regards to attracting those people and attracting consumers is what we do. And this is the share our cultures piece. So each one of our brands have a way that we bring them to life. And we focus very much with a lot of our brands on arts, looking after the arts community and working with them. And a classic example, probably the best example, is Absolute. Absolute Vodka really became such an iconic brand simply through the work it did with big, like Andy Warhol, but also aspiring artists. And we still do that today. In fact, we have a program at the moment called Transform Today, where we've brought to life places in Williamsburg, here in New York, San Francisco, and other cities, where basically we get local talent, local artists, aspiring artists, and we put them on a bit more of an international stage by transforming whole suburbs or blocks with regards to what they do. And again, it's just an opportunity for us to bring to life our cultural piece of our CSR platform through our recognition of the arts. The other thing, and probably the more important thing, is that we get employee engagement. And to be honest, this is the first and most important thing I focus on, is are my employees engaged and do they believe in what we talk about with regards to our, our responsibility, our ethical obligation with regards to our business. This is a shot from something we do every year. So Pernod Ricard globally, there is something they do mandate. They said that every year we have 19,000 people around the world. And they say that every year those 19,000 people have to down tools, drop their pens, shut their laptops, and focus on bringing to life 1, 2, or 3 of the key things out of that platform I showed you. And generally in most markets, it's about responsible consumption. So every year we have to stop work. So basically this is a photo from an event we held in New York for all the New York staff, and we did them all over the country, where people are brought in, and in various ways, we basically reinforce and bring to life how they need to be ambassadors. And quite often, we actually put them out in the streets to sell the message and basically talk to other people. It's a commitment and investment from Pernod Ricard. And we do it everywhere. We even shut down plants. We do whatever we can to basically focus on that. We don't stop taking orders, but we do focus on that. And this is, we used, Ralph was very kind this year to introduce us to Debbie Phelps, who basically came and gave a speech to our employees about how you can speak better to your children and to your friends and to younger people about making the right choices. This lady's awesome. She is fantastic. She's an educator, a mother, but she's got more energy than I will ever have in my entire life. So the guys really, all my team really jumped around her and really enjoyed that day. But again, it's a commitment from our business to do that. So with regards to all the things we work out, we also work on sustainability, the environmental side. And that starts from simple things to big things. Simple things is, if you go to our office in New York, we always have recycling, all the basics you need to do. We've gone to a paperless office as much as possible, got rid of disposable coffee cups, et cetera, et cetera. But we also have far bigger plays. Particularly, we focus this a lot around our production facilities. And I'll give you a classic example is what I believe, and we believe, is the greatest sparkling wine made in the United States is Mum Napa, out in the Napa Valley. And the classic thing is you've got a brand with 2 words in it, Mum Napa. So without the Napa Valley, there is no Mum Napa. So we are very focused on being very, very strict with the environment, but more importantly, spending a lot of time in outreach and education with our growers and our partners and how we manage the environment, manage the business. And we replicate that in a lot of our plants around the world, whether it be Australia, New Zealand, London, Sweden, all the places we've got big facilities. And in fact, so much, we work very hard to make sure that we are registered and recognized locally. So we've done a lot of work with the key environmental authorities in California to make sure we're certified for things like energy consumption, recycling, waste disposal, solid waste, which is very key, water recycling, which is critical. And I'm pleased to say that we believe we are top of the tree when it comes to work we do in the Napa Valley. But what's most important is our growers who supply us with a lot of fruit. It's amazing how quickly they get on the bus and how quickly they see that as being a very important part of our partnership moving forward. Because a lot of these are 3rd, 4th generation families who have been there for a while and want to pass these things on to their kids, which is key. So the other thing we do, which is very much focused, is engaging customers. So we have a strange situation in the United States, which is different than our market, is we have a legally mandated way that we have to go to market with our products, which is fine. It stems out of prohibition. So what happens is we have to go through a distributor or a wholesaler to the retailer. And in some states, that actual middle tier is still run by the government. So we actually sell to the government, and the government then sells to their state stores. And quite often, the government has a legally, in each state, they have a legally mandated position that they have to actually focus on responsible consumption, which is great for us. Because actually what happens is they have that, but they don't have a team to actually put the stuff together. So we have an accept responsibility program, and this is about focusing on the excuses people might make not to drink responsibly or not to drink in moderation. And what's great is quite often a lot of these, what we call control states, where the government controls, they use a lot of our materials, and we don't brand it, although this one's branded here. And they basically use that material as part of their corporate responsibility messages on TV, radio, internet, whatever. And we're very, very happy to produce as many marketing materials as they want to actually help them do their job, which is critical for us. But this is just a small example of what we do, because we also do a lot of education and outreach programs. So for example, we have a program called Bar Smarts, which is about educating and teaching bartenders how to be good bartenders. And it's critical for our business. But a core component of that is also, how you drive acceptable consumption, how you deal with bad clients who won't stop drinking, how do you deal with troublesome clients, the focus on making sure that you check IDs, and whenever we run events, making sure that we do that we're very, very strict and lead by example with regards to responsibility. So we have a responsibility platform, a CSR platform, I showed you before, with 4 key pillars. It's important for us. It's important for us with regards to, the right thing to do for society. But it's very important for our employees to actually talk to it about their family and friends. And we try as much as possible to give all of our employees the tools to help them, guide their children, because a lot of us have kids, but also their friends and family who come and ask them, because they work in the alcohol industry, how they can deal with some of these moments. And it's interesting, a lot of people ask, tell me about whiskey, what's a good whiskey, what's a good wine, what's a good champagne. But we also do get questions from people saying, how do I talk to my teenage son or daughter about alcohol? And again, we're in the business. If we can't talk about that properly and responsibly, then that's an issue for us that we have to address. So it's very key for us moving forward. And also, just the fact of the matter of having something like this, we always try and work as much as possible with the lawmakers and regulators to talk to them if they've got issues or questions with regards to the consumption and use of alcohol in society. The good news is about alcohol, with regards to our business, is the majority of people, pretty much, I always say 99.9% of people, consume alcohol in the right way, moderation. And it brings good things. It allows you to enjoy yourself with your family and friends. It creates a lot of jobs, money, taxes, with regards to what comes out of the hospitality industry. And, you know, if you read a lot of the scientific reports, there are health benefits as well with moderate consumption. So we always look at the positive side, and in fact, that's where we always start, is the positive side, in that if we can educate you or educate anybody else on the positive side of alcohol consumption, it's much better than reacting to any negative side. That said, we're not blind or stupid. We know that some people do make the wrong choices with regards to alcohol. So hence, we work very hard, and it's something there is no end game. You have to just keep doing it. With regards to the education on the harmful use, making the right choices with regards to alcohol consumption. And in fact, something that Ralph will talk about before, because Ralph's organisation is very much what I call the sharp end of the stick with regards to what we do to fight, you know, and drive education internally and also externally, is with regards to Century Council, and it's critical for us. So we believe our efforts play a role in doing things. The good news is we don't plan to stop, ever, because it's just such a mandated part of our organisation, our DNA, moving forward. So what's interesting is we're not the only ones, which is great. In fact, there's an organisation called ICAP, which is the International Centre for Alcohol Policies. And that's an umbrella organisation for 13 of the biggest beer, wine and spirits companies globally to actually work on positive action with regards to the education of alcohol. And in fact, this is our global CEO, Pierre Pringuet, who announced last year 5 commitments the industry are working towards in every country, not just the United States. And in fact, the 5 commitments are then given to me as part of my job, to focus on here in the United States with regards to 5 commitments to reduce harmful consumption in 5 years. And some of these things that ICAP focus on are not a big issue here in the United States. For example, illicit alcohol, which is, you know, in some poorer countries you have a lot of cheap alcohol that can be produced by illegal ways, which can cause harm. That's not as much an issue in the United States. The key issues we focus on with regards to the 5 commitments are reducing underage drinking, strengthening and expanding the way we, you know, practice our business, the way we produce products, the way we talk about our products and market, provide good consumer information and responsible innovation in products, reduce drink driving, and enlisting the support of retailers to reduce harmful drinking. And Ralph will talk about today pretty much 3 of those, which is reduce underage drinking, drinking and driving, particularly drunk driving, and enlisting the support of retailers to reduce harmful drinking, because that's very much what some of the key things the Century Council is doing for the industry. I'll talk a little bit about 2 of these. And with regards to the marketing codes of practice, just to let you know that we actually have a very strict code of practice internally. We have a Pernod Ricard code of practice, but then there's also a body in the United States called DISCUS, which is the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States, which is pretty much our industry body. They also have a code of practice, which is a good thing, because if someone, one of my competitors, but also my partners in the industry, does something that we don't agree with, we have a forum that we can actually bring that up, discuss it, and we have taken action against our own with regards to asking them to stop and cease activity that we're not happy with. I'm pleased to say no one's complained yet about us. This is a code of practice, and more importantly, we have an internal approval body. So anything we go to market with, whether it be a product innovation or an advertisement, has to go through the internal body, assuming it even passes the code. So that gives us like 2 or 3 checks. And it's things like, you know, the people we use in our advertising, so we don't have people who look too young. It's about what we say, what we do, what innovation we go for. Does it send the wrong message to people? Does it attract people under legal drinking age? So we're very strict on this moving forward, and always have been, to be honest. The other thing we have is, of course, with regards to product innovation. So we actually have 4 levels of approval with regards to innovation. So if someone comes and puts a product, say a vodka that is, you know, got like a very strong kids flavour, that would be, sending the wrong message, then that has to be approved actually by me. I approve every product innovation, and then it then goes even from me to our internal approval body. So it's quite strict to get through, and I'm pleased to say that I haven't had to reject too many because my guys are smart enough not to put those things in front of me, which is great. So finally, things before I hand over to Ralph, just to reinforce from Pernod Ricard is, first and foremost, we have a strong platform. It's part of our DNA. It's part of how we go to market and, again, work to make a new friend every day. It's critical for our employees. It's critical for capturing talent and retaining them. But more importantly, to turning those people and ensuring they're ambassadors in what they do, in everything, in terms of how they act, both within, when they're working, but also in their personal lives as well. And particularly as regards to fighting against the making the wrong choices and the harmful use of alcohol, and also focusing on the positive side, because we do believe that our products are fantastic, and we like to see our consumers and our customers enjoying our products responsibly and having fun and enjoying themselves, which is great. I'm going to hand over to Ralph now. Ralph is the head of the Century Council. I'll let him explain what that is, but just to reinforce that the Century Council is an extremely important part of our industry dialogue with people through all levels of the United States. And importantly, it's a clear reflection of how the industry works together to try and promote the positive side with regards to what we do in alcohol sales in the United States. Ralph.
Brian. Well, Brian, thank you very much. I neither have Brian's height nor that accent, but I'm going to do my best to get through what we think is frankly a really very significant body of work, which I think goes all the way from the global issues that our members face down to actually the community and school by school issues that mothers and fathers and kids face around the country. So first of all, our mission is to be a leader in the fight against drunk driving and underage drinking and to promote responsible decision making. A very, very important point of distinction here, which is Brian talks about responsible drinking. And as a company that produces spirits and talks to legal age consumers, they want to talk about responsible drinking. As an organization that talks to parents and kids, we want to talk about responsible decision making. We're funded by America's leading distillers, Pernod Ricard, one of our members, but as you can see, we have multiple members because our programs are not brand specific, nor are they beer or wine or spirits specific. It's about underage drinking and drunk driving and promoting responsible decision making. As Brian mentioned, 3 of those global commitments specifically do fall right into our wheelhouse. And while the companies are going to pursue other issues that relate to those global commitments, as we are doing our job here, we are also helping and contributing to them meeting those commitments that our member companies have made around the world. Our independence to be able to do this is critical. The fact of the matter is, for us to be able to create substantive programming, for us to be able to go out and partner up with national, unique, and important partners, and for us to reach down deep into the communities of this country, that independence is very important with regard to our being able to do our job. With regard to drunk driving, the basic foundation or framework is really a policy framework. There are a lot of laws. They are state by state in many cases, and then a federal layer as well with regard to drunk driving. I'm not going to go through any of these specifically, but you can see that some of these are all weaved together to look at consumption, to look at penalties, to look at offenders, and to look at different ways to reduce the alcohol-impaired driving fatalities in our country. But at the end of the day, practical resources are really fundamental to those practitioners on the front lines. I'd say where the rubber meets the road, but that's a little too close. But those are the important people who are toe-to-toe in that courtroom, in that correctional facility, out on the street late at night. And practical resources are really fundamental. We're providing more resources to America's courtrooms than any other organization. And those solid partnerships that I talked about earlier with national organizations have allowed us to really go out and touch judges and prosecutors, probation and supervision professionals, and law enforcement really in all 50 states. At the same time, there's a problem, and people continue to die from alcohol-impaired fatalities on our roads. So innovation is really key to continuing to move that needle. We're working with Harvard Medical School and the Cambridge Health Alliance to create a computerized assessment tool that looks at alcohol and drugs and mental health issues, all to provide key insights into reducing recidivism. And we're working with the International Association of Chiefs of Police Foundation, where we're looking at training law enforcement officers in order to be able to move them through swift identification, certain punishment, and effective treatment of those offenders. And also at the same time with Suffolk University Law School, where we're really looking at new curriculum for both law students as well as continuing education for sitting judges. And we are making a difference. It's a continuing effort. As Bryan mentioned, it doesn't stop. It goes on. It's a commitment that we've made. It's a problem that's out there that needs to be addressed. But we are making a difference, and since the inception of the council, drunk driving fatalities have decreased 38% with our contribution to that issue. But there's another way to look at that difference as well, and that's in saving lives. Calculated a different way, our contribution to these issues really have resulted in 62,000 lives being saved. And that's an important way to talk about this issue as well. At the same time, those of you who are parents know that distracted driving for teens is an important issue. By the way, as a safety person, I'm telling you it's an important issue for you as well. And we created a program called I Know Everything that really zeroes in on drunk driving and distracted driving and highlights that really very important role of parents as the leading influence and the leading driving instructors for their kids. On the underage drinking side, really again, where our overriding platform is bringing parents and kids together, those communications are really key when you're talking about risk-taking behaviors and underage drinking being one of those. When parents talk, kids really do listen. Parents are the leading influence in kids' decisions to drink or not to drink. And over the past 10 years, 62% more kids report talking to their parents about underage drinking. And we continually drive home, both from the kids' side, kids are empowered to talk to their parents about these issues. How do they feel comfortable doing it? But as well from the parent side, how do you respond? How do you encourage? Or how do you initiate this conversation over and over and over again? Our national platform for this is a program called Ask, Listen, Learn, Kids and Alcohol Don't Mix. We're reaching millions of parents and kids in print, online, and in their schools, again, through partnerships that provide us and our messaging with both reach as well as credibility. We also work with a number of Olympic athletes. Allie Raisman from the Olympic gymnastics team, Apollo Ono, who's the speed skater, Misty May Trainer, beach volleyball, Rebecca Soni, U.S. swimming captain. And we send those Olympians out to go to middle schools to talk to kids about saying yes to a healthy lifestyle and no to underage drinking. We also work with elected officials. The fact of the matter is that we want to cultivate a deeper understanding of our issue and a deeper level of engagement with policymakers than just on the nitty-gritty of that policy platform by itself. We cut a number of public service announcements with them. It provides them with an opportunity to speak to their constituents about this issue. And those public service announcements are also distributed mostly in conjunction with a local community event, so that we get a chance to make a statement that's community-wide about underage drinking, and it really is a community issue as much as anything else. The fact of the matter is, as we talked about bringing parents and kids together, it's not all about the kids. As we've talked earlier, we work closely with Debbie Phelps, author, teacher for more than 30 years, teacher and principal, and mother of Olympian Michael Phelps. And basically, she calls them bumps in the road. She's very upfront and very vocal about the fact that Michael does know right from wrong, as we believe all of our kids do, but it's harder than that. And so she is actually a very inspiring, great conversation to have. Our Parents You're Not Done Yet brochure, again, distributed by thousands of colleges to parents before their kids go off to college. So again, we've reached more than 2 million copies of that. The schools get them from us. They then send them home with housing materials and acceptance materials, because the fact of the matter is, parents, you're not done yet. You need to keep in touch with your kids. You are still the leading influence in their decisions, even at those college years. And online, we've created a program called Talk Early About Alcohol, where we've enlisted the help of parenting bloggers to reach out to those communities that exist online, many of whom are mothers, but mothers and fathers who are looking for advice and consultation from each other about how to deal with these issues. And we're making a difference. Alcohol consumption among 12 and 13-year-olds, again, trying to get young people, teens and tweens, before they get into the wrong direction and the wrong path, has decreased 49% since the Century Council was founded. Finally, we're also working at the top end of those kids as well, Kids to Us. That is helping college students find their own voice on the issues of overconsumption on campus. Student-generated media really speaks to students in a different way. We can't tell these kids what we as adults think they ought to do. They have to talk to each other in a language that's all their own, in a medium that's all their own, that they really know that we're prying into. We got more than 140 campuses to create binge drinking campaigns, student-generated campaigns, and we also enlisted the help of NBA legend and if you're on video, if you're on Vine, if you're on Instagram, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, nobody's there doing more video than Shaquille O'Neal, and he's been great to work with on this. We're also working with Shaq, and we looked at a campaign directed at African-American students on campus. We found that there was really nothing out there that really appealed or was directed at them. We're working with Shaq and a comedian, if you ever get a chance to see him, very, very funny, named Godfrey. They're using comedy to really illustrate the social and physical consequences. It's called Watch Yourself, and it was directed, again, through African-American media platforms. Again, overconsumption on college campuses is going down as well, and we're proud to be working toward that. Lastly, our retail partners create access points for our materials and for our programs and for our messaging. But if you look at that center, bottom center there, it's not what you might think. It's not about keeping kids away from buying. It's about the fact that 65% of the alcohol kids drink actually comes from family and friends. It comes from adults. And so we're really looking at those retail partners and looking at the kind of global commitment to work with retailers as a way to really educate parents and adults about the mistaken impression that somehow providing alcohol to young people is something that they're doing. Again, ultimately, there really is a strategy that lies beneath all of these tactics. Our commitment to being true to the data creates substantive programming. That substantive programming attracts unique partners. Unique partners heighten awareness and expand our reach. That expanded reach creates an opportunity for deeper engagement on our issues, and that deeper engagement creates the potential for that positive contribution and positive impact. So again, thank you very much. You can find us online at centurycouncil.org, or of course, we're on all the social platforms as well. Thank you.
Thanks very much. That was quite enlightening. I have a couple quick questions, and then we need to keep moving. We are on the last day. So, Ralph, let me start with you. Am I right that there's a governmental proposal to lower the blood alcohol content level from 0.08, I think it is, to 0.05? 0.05. Can you talk about that a little bit?
There's a proposal on the table from the National Transportation Safety Board to move the legal limit from 0.08 to 0.05. We're actually studying that science now. It's not very conclusive, actually, but I think more importantly, the average BAC of somebody arrested in this country for drunk driving is actually 0.18. So you're not talking about the difference between somebody who is at 0.08 or 0.05. You're talking about somebody who is, is nearly more than double, I guess, the legal limit. And so we're going to continue to work in an area to really look at those repeat offenders and the high BAC drivers.
So would this be like lowering a miles per hour limit that you know is going to be violated in the interest of?
Most people really don't know how their individual drinking equates to that BAC.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is that police right now have the ability, probable cause, if you're weaving, if you're driving erratically. And the fact of the matter is that's going to be very much more complicated at those lower and lower BACs because they're really not going to be able to have those visible signs.
Got it.
I think the other thing we can add is that if you look at, Ralph and I would like to see those drunk driving charts go to zero. And one of the key things also is repeat offenders, what we call the
recidivists.
And if you look at Mothers Against Drink Driving, which is quite a large organisation as well, that's one of their key focuses. So the discussion, about ignition locks and things like that for those repeat offenders is probably a much more interesting discussion and probably more valuable in making those charts go down.
So this is serious stuff, but at the risk of introducing a little bit of levity, I was down in Lexington a year or so ago with Paul Rook, the CEO of Lexmark, and he was talking about getting consumers of his printers to use less toner and to use their printers less. There seems to be a trend out there for CEOs to want to inhibit consumption of their own products. In that light, I'm interested, I would think you would have a fiduciary interest in encouraging irresponsible drinking, but you don't. And in fact, when you and I spoke earlier this year, you're not even sure that you're interested in lowering the drinking age. What are your thinkings on that?
I have no interest in lowering the drinking age. In fact, I don't even waste any time considering it. There is plenty of people, plenty of consumers out there consuming our products responsibly above 21 years of age. I'm much more interested in spending my time getting them to make the right choice between not drinking beer and maybe drinking one of our products than going from 21 to 18 years old. So it's a discussion I don't even want to, no one in our organisation is even looking at that, and we don't really want it at all.
Well, very inspiring. Help me thank Bryan and Ralph, folks.